Hi angels, welcome back to another resin video. So in this video we're going to be making another mirror. I've used this mold a ton of time because I absolutely love it. It's so perfect. These dry pressed flowers I got from Etsy's. I will leave the seller down in the description box because I ordered a ton of dry flowers from them and they're just amazing. So after I poured my resin into my mold, there was some bubbles, so I just used my lighter to get rid of the bubbles. Now I can start layering down my flowers of how I want everything to be. Honestly, I felt like I should have dipped all of these flowers in the resin first before I place it into the mold. But I was using the resin for other stuff, so I didn't want pieces of the flowers to be in there when I have a ton of other projects that I'm supposed to be using the resin for. So that's the only thing I would change about this. But yeah. There's these pieces of flowers that was just laying around, so I was like, might as well use it because I'm not going to be using it for anything else. So after I did that, I just put some resin on top of all of the flowers. And I'm going to leave this overnight for it to dry. So after 24 hours, I decided that I didn't like all of the white flowers up top, so I changed one of them for a pink one. So that's the only difference that's in here. So after the first layer dry, now I'm just pouring down there my second layer of resin, going over all the flowers and all around and all that good stuff. Everything looking good so far. I don't think there was any bubbles in this layer, but I could be wrong. So I'm just waiting to see if I see any bubbles starting to rise up or anything like that, which I did not. So I just add on there some more resin because I saw some bubbles stuck on the flowers. So add a little bit more just to push everything up. And then I'm just going over the flowers with my lighter to get rid of some of the bubbles. And I'm gonna let this layer overnight, so 24 hours for it to be dried. And yeah. Oh, so on the first layer of resin, there's some bubble that dried at the side. So I'm trying to use my stick to like pop it. And where there's any bubbles, just rise it, poke it so that it can rise to the top, and then I can just get rid of it. Dun, 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 dun. So this is the third layer, I think. Just pouring it down, and then I'm gonna let this layer dry as well. But this layer is different from the rest of them because there was some bubbles. Why is the camera so shaky? Oh, because I have it in my hand. So some bubbles at the side, so I'm just using the stick to poke the side of it so that the bubbles can rise up and that I can pop it. I'm trying to find a little pin or something like that to pop it, but I could not. So I'm just poking at it to get all of the air bubbles out so it can rise to the top, and I can just pop it. And yeah. And I'm gonna use my lighter to get rid of the bubbles, just like that. I think this layer and all of the layers after this is when the bubbles start to rise up, because now you're getting on top of all of the flowers and at the sides and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go over it one more time with my lighter. And then I'm gonna let this layer dry as well for another 24 hours. There's obviously some bubbles at the side. I'm gonna get rid of it. So this, oh, excuse me. So this is like the fourth layer, if I'm not mistaken. After this layer dried, then I'm gonna add on there the final layer of resin. But yeah, there's a ton of air bubbles around this flower, so I'm poking it with this thing right here to get all of the bubbles to rise up. This took a good minute. I wish I had something else, but I get majority of the air bubbles to rise up. And then this purple flowers at the side. You see that bubble? I popped it, I lighted, but it was just not disappearing. I'm just trying to work on this white one to get as much as a bubble as possible so that it doesn't look that obvious. I can't get rid of like every single one of it, but trying my best. There's still some bubbles at the side and in the center as well, so I'm trying to get at it. So there's some air bubbles that dried in the fourth layer. So I'm just poking it with this pin to open up the bubble, and then I'm just going to go over it with my resin and keep poking at it until all of the bubble rise up, which I'm going to show you guys how that would look. I already started poking at it with my little pin, just getting all of the resin in there, and then just poke at it for the bubbles to rise up. This kind of work, so the bubble was getting smaller and smaller, but I wasn't able to get it like all the way. So yeah, that's the only bad thing about this. And you can see that there's a ton of little tiny bubbles. I probably should have used my heat gun. Maybe that would have worked better. Dun, dun, dun. I'm just pouring down there the final layer to fill it all the way up. And I'm going to go over it with my lighter to pop all of the bubbles again. So after 24 hours, everything is dried. There's little bubbles up top, but I can always sand it down and then add a layer of resin on top of it if I choose to. I don't really like the way how this turned out, so you'll see if I try to make any improvements on this one. But now I'm just popping it out of the mold. This mold is very easy. There is no struggles in taking this thing out, so that is perfect. And it's very easy to clean too, so that's good. And this is how it looks. From afar it looks good, but you can see right there where I'm poking at, there's some air bubbles right on top. They're very tiny, but there's a ton of it. And at the side you can see every layer that I poured in there that dried. I think that's pretty cool. And this is how it looks from the top, the bottom, the back, and the sides. Looks pretty cute. And the mirror. So I'm not trying to remove the plastic off of the mirror so I can put it on there. And voila. And this is how it looks up close. There is a ton of bubbles. I thought I was getting them. I thought I got it. But when I put it out to the sun, oh my God, you saw all of the bubbles. If you stand like 6 feet away, then it might look good. But up close, it is a ton of bubbles. Oh my God. It kind of looks cute. But there was just a ton of bubbles. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. I like the shape of it. It's cute, but oh my, too much bubbles. And this is the side of it. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.